This plucky little postal Jeep wooed me with its puppy-like charm. It's just a rusty little box on wheels that, since it first came off the Studebaker assembly line in South Bend, Indiana in 1976, has wanted to do nothing more than serve. On the last episode, you saw how the Jeep gods came through and a big old rust pile was left on my driveway. Ugh. At this point, I hadn't showered in 5 days, I had barely slept, and I was trying to prepare this dilapidated $500 postal Jeep that I've dubbed Project POStal for an 1,800-mile trip to Utah. It brought me so close to the brink that I actually gave up. The steering was way too sloppy. I threw in the towel. That was it. 6 months of wrenching, all for nothing. But then a Jalopnik reader came to my house and suggested that I tighten the steering box adjustment screw. And it worked! We were back in business! So we headed off to Moab. Ready to do something? Originally, I thought Mike and I would ride in the Jeep together. Mike, the passenger, is going to be sitting on a phone book, and I'm sitting on a seat that is definitely firmly fastened to the body. But it became clear to me that he'd be more comfortable in the car.
So that's Dave up there in the Jeep.
The first challenge was the brake issue that happened only 5 miles from my house. It appeared I might have put the blue adjuster spring in wrong. I'm not even sure. You know what I'm seeing? You can see this is not supposed to be like this. This spring should, I don't know, maybe be hooked to something. This happened again later on. Luckily, I had packed Project POStal with enough tools and fluids to be ready to go. I'm sure someone in suburban Detroit still has oil stains on the road near their house. But the next issue I ran into was related to not having a functional fuel gauge. Let me pull over and talk to my brother about finding a fuel station, I thought. So I did, and just as I was telling my brother I should fill the Jeep up, it sputtered out and died. Filling the Jeep up was a struggle. For some reason, engineers decided to make the fuel spout perfectly horizontal, so anytime I tried to fuel up, there was guaranteed spillage. I did the math, and going about 40 to 45 miles per hour, I realized I'm scoring about 14 miles per gallon. So we had to fill up every 100 miles, or roughly 2 hours. Alright, so just refueled my Jeep. It only takes about 7.5 gallons of gas. I spilled some there. It's just, yeah. An hour later, I stopped at one of the finest motels I'd ever seen and stayed the night. Then from there, things got miserable because it was 35 degrees outside and pouring a mixture of rain and snow. It is so cold in here. It's raining. It's actually snowing. It's a bit of a mix between snow and rain, and as you can see my breath if you look closely. So I'd say it's like, in here it's probably like 42, 43 degrees. There's Mike taping up my
Air vents.
Yep.
You're freezing your ass off.
Yeah, which is why the frame is so shaky. It's not that the phone sucks, it's that I am freezing my ass off. I'm in here, you know, this is only a slight downgrade from the modern Hyundai Accent. As you can see, the seat is drenched because there's a huge rust hole that we tried to fix with some aluminum tape. Oh boy. Onward to victory, hopefully. I have a high threshold for bullshit, but I have to admit I was cold, wet, and uncomfortable. Good news is I eventually did catch some snoozes. My mind was filled with dreams of the awesome sights I'd seen during the day. There was a tractor parked out on Main Street, and a really sweet truck parked right next to that tractor. Plus there was a random guy named Willie who asked my brother to take a picture of him for some reason. And there was a big white barn with an American flag on the side, and an incredibly soulful post office. In what can only be described as a miracle, I drove 400 miles from Michigan to Illinois without a major issue. Well, except one. I was miserable the whole time. It's now time to head to Kansas. But please, little postal Jeep, you've got this. We've got this. Just please stop burning and leaking so much oil.